another episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show, a show made by 12s from around the world, for 12s around the world. I'm Mosette, and here's your host and my dad, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity.
Yes, thank you, Mosette, and welcome 12s to episode 411 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show as your Seattle Seahawks get ready to take on the New York Jets. So sit back, relax, grab a desired beverage or sit of your choice, and remember, JET stands for Just End the Season. Let's meet the posse for this episode. Of course, from merry old England, my partner in crime, the yin to my yang, it's Matt. Hi, Matt.
Good morning, Moses. How are you?
Matt, I'm fantastic. How are you?
Well, I've got good news and bad, really.
Oh, well, do share. What's the good news?
Good news is I've got my dollars for my trip over to the States later this month.
Fantastic. What's the bad news?
Bad news is I think I must have picked Zimbabwean dollars because I didn't seem to get very many for my pounds.
Zimbabwe, everyone. Look it up, kids. That's a country.
Country, folks. Has no oil, so you probably don't know anything about it.
Ouch.
Wow. Shot fired across the ocean. Also from the state of Washington, our own news hound, his 12th-man editorials can be found on the SeahawksSound.com website. You know him as Shadowhawk. We know him as Will. Hi, Will.
Hi, Moses. How are you?
Wonderful. How are you?
Doing well. Looking forward to our game against the Jets. Suck.
As we heard in our intro. Yes, very good.
Yes.
Great cheer that we'll be doing all day Sunday. And speaking of cheering on Sundays, please welcome, as always, to our posse from the state of Washington, a stand-up man. We call him Dustin. Hi, Dustin.
Hey, how's it going? I was waiting for the punchline on the stand-up thing. The stand-up, man,
well,
you
you're
can't tell when
standing
you're
up, we
standing,
still
but
can't see you.
Oh, I didn't say that.
I was waiting for your punchline on that one.
No. You're just a stand-up man. That's all you need to know.
Oh, thanks.
Sometimes it's hard to tell if you are. But, gentlemen, let's get to this show, shall we? The show is run like a real NFL football game. We have 4 quarters, even a halftime. Quarter 1 is news from Will. Quarter 2, we're going to discuss the Seahawk and 49er game from last week. Have a very special Caption That Picture and look at how we fared in last week's predictions. Halftime, of course, is the best Seahawk-themed play-along game on the internet. I'm referring, of course, to 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia, where Matt is looking to hold on to his title, I believe, Matthew?
Yes, it is, after my amazing average calculation. Not a guess at all.
On wasn't miles. Guess. What was it on? What was the number? I forgot. Was it pounds?
7
No.
Total points.
Total points
total
scored
points,
against the
yeah.
Niners, yeah.
But you got a question about pounds, weight-wise, right, last week or something.
The largest gold bar, yes.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. And that helped
I
you.
can't remember what the answer is.
550, I think. But
Oh, yes.
for you
That's a
guys, that
lot.
means like 3 hands or something. Anyway, quarter 3, we're going to prepare you between the game between the Jets.
8 fiddlesticks.
8 fiddlesticks between the Jets and the Seahawks. Quarter 4, special New York City flavor top 3, and we make our predictions, prognostications, and game ball for the Jets game. Hey! Like, share, and subscribe to the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel. Join us on our Facebook group, 12-Man Fan Jam Show, Twitter at Seahawk Positivity, email 12manfanjamshow@gmail.com. But before we start, I do have a special announcement. I kind of hinted at this. There is a special announcement on the show tonight. More about this next week, but I'm going to kind of give you a little teaser tonight. Little Mo and I are headed to the beautiful Pacific Northwest for the Falcons game, and that's, of course, after the Jets game, there'll be a bye-week show, our normal bye-week show next week, 4/12, and then we have the Falcons game. Now, this will make recording our show difficult because I recorded here where I'm at, and I will not be here. I'll be 3,000 miles away in the beautiful Pacific Northwest. So we came up with a bit of an idea, and we want you, the listener, to be a part of this. So Saturday, October 15th, high noon, we're going to attempt to have our very first ever 12-Man Fan Jam Show meetup. We're going to go to the Armory at the Seattle Center. And there's a bunch of places to eat there. It's like a courtyard. We're going to have lunch. We're going to sit there. We'd love you to stop by, say hi, kind of see other Seahawk fans and things like that. But following the lunch, probably around 1 p.m., maybe earlier, maybe later, depending on how things are going, probably around 1 Seattle time, we're going to attempt to broadcast our very first ever live 12-Man Fan Jam Show. And we want you to sit in on the show and join us. So we're going to have probably trivia, We'll have some predictions. We'll talk about the Falcon game coming up and maybe a top 3 or so thrown in. More details are going to follow on the 12-Man Fan Jam Show Facebook page. If you're a member, you're going to get an invite. If you're not a member, it doesn't matter. You can still come. We'll share more details next week's show during the bye week. So something to look forward to in a couple weeks. But right now, what we have to look forward to is Shadowhawk Wheel and the news. Yes, news while you're out buying pumpkin spice lattes. It's the 12-Man Fan Jam Show news report with Shadowhawk. Will, what you got for us this evening?
Well, Moses, you and Dustin might want to make sure that your kids don't hear this one.
Okay. Little Mo, turn this one off. Go ahead.
Yes.
I pretty much don't filter mine. They can watch or hear it. It's fine.
Okay. Well, they are playing football, and there is a former NFL guard who had a rather interesting way of performing on the gridiron. Eben Britton, I'm not sure how to pronounce that first name, and I don't really care. Second-round draft pick of the Jaguars in 2009, played 4 years in Jacksonville, 2 in Chicago. Well, it turns out that he played plenty of games in the NFL while stoned.
Oh.
Quote, telling the New York Post, quote, NFL games I played stoned were some of the best games I ever played. Cannabis cements your surroundings. A lot of people say they're useless when they smoke weed, but hell, I played NFL games while stoned, dude. My performances were solid, and I felt really good after. Britton also went on to say that he believes the number of NFL players who do smoke pot is, quote, over 50%, and it could be as high, his words, not mine, as 75%. So,
wow.
Now we know what they're doing in all those huddles.
Yeah. It's like that 70s show where it's puffing and passing.
So, wow. So I guess the theme song was Jacksonville, you said?
Yep.
So I guess Jacksonville's theme song was kind of, this is when they came out and just kind of hung out. All right.
I don't know, man. I feel like their theme song was more like Afro Man, because I got high. Because that song, he said he could have done something good, but he was high, so he jacked it up.
I could have tackled the guy,
but I was
because
high.
I got high.
You know, something just occurred to me. I really should have saved this one for show number 420. I'm going to be kicking myself. That's literally
just
hit
around
me.
the corner, man. That's just around the corner. There's so many things you could do with a stoned football team. Have you seen that commercial where the guy accidentally knocks in all the muscle relaxants into the water? It's for the Washington Lottery.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, my God. My favorite commercial of all time. I love that commercial. That's what it would be like.
Probably. I just have all the Afro Man in my head now. We could have won the game, but then we got high.
We could have won the division, but then we got high. So, kids, now, and here's the point that I think Will's trying to make here. I think the point Will's trying to make is what kind of career did this guy have, Will?
Well, he played for about 6 years, but was suspended before the 2015 season and hasn't played it down since. So,
any Pro Bowls? Anything worth noting about this guy?
Oh, there were bowls.
Yeah. There were bowls, just not pro. But yeah,
No.
I don't remember him. But who knows?
No. So kids, it's not a way.
But they were the best games of his career, dude.
It's no way to play football. I mean, I'm sorry. No one high should be playing football. I don't think under any circumstance. So
I don't know, man. There's a lot of
especially
guys
not
out there
your
on
kids.
Vicodin, I bet.
Matt, what are your thoughts on getting high and playing football?
Well, it's just on-field pain management, really. Probably what it's more about. That's why they can just keep on pacing. But did you say this is the Jacksonville Jaguars?
Yes.
Because they're supposed to become they're the team that's supposed to be, earmarked for coming to London.
Yes, they're there right now. Yes.
That's really going to be problematic for them. If they,
So, Matt, if you want any, you know where to score now.
Yeah.
Well, they're going to have to be based in London and Brixton. That's what they're going to have to be. It's the only place I can think of where they're going to be able to get away with that, really. But it's just on-field pain management. It's perfectly acceptable.
So what you're saying is they should be the Amsterdam Jaguars, I think.
That's it. That would work perfectly for them.
Yeah. A new home for the Jaguars.
Why not? Jaguars to Amsterdam, Raiders to Vegas. Why not? Whole new world.
Because, see, in
Browns to
Amsterdam, they
Cleveland.
don't know what a Jaguar is, so they call it El Jaguar, but they don't know what a Jaguar is. That's a little Pulp Fiction to bring you down. Okay, Will.
Yeah, that was.
What's your next
on that
story?
one.
Sorry.
Well, Moses, the fullback is a dying position in the NFL. A lot of the position just doesn't get the respect it used to, and that's carrying over off the field. Just ask Panthers fullback Mike Tolbert. Recently, he had an arrangement with a company called Motion Lab Tuning to work on a classic car. Things went bad. He claimed he was quoted a 10-day repair at a certain price, only to be billed at a higher amount 2 months later when the work wasn't finished. The shop replied when he went on the social media saying that Tolbert wanted them to do the work for free, calling him, quote, a real scumbag that doesn't want to pay his bills, unquote.
Whoa.
Well, it gets better because Tolbert said he initially wanted to write them a check, but the owner wouldn't accept it. They didn't think that the check would clear.
Wow.
So Tolbert got back. He went to the bank and got $3,900 for the repair in coins.
Nice.
Quote, it was pennies, nickels, dimes, quarters, everything. I didn't care one bit. I took a truckload of it and put it right there where he wanted it and got my truck towed back to my buddy's shop.
Beautiful.
So there you have it.
Oh, gosh. Hey, kids, Mike Tolbert. That deserves... Yes, it does.
I've
Mike
kind of
Tolbert,
always
that's
wanted
awesome.
to do that at some point for something, just somebody that pisses me off like that. So good on him, living the dream. That's awesome.
I would.
Yep.
I now have a lot of respect for Mike Tolbert. He's a tough player anyway. He always worries me when he's out there because he's basically a lineman at fullback, tough as nails. But this
Big
is
boy.
awesome. This is awesome, Matt. It wouldn't be coins for you. It would be what, pences or what shells?
Well,
what do you guys have?
We have a
Yeah,
law.
seashells.
No, we've got a law in the UK that wouldn't mean that couldn't happen anyway, because any person could refuse a transaction above 20 pence in change. So in essence,
really?
if he walked in and dumped a load of stuff on there, we would just sit there and go, nope. And even worse, if he did it with quarters, dimes, and nickels, we'd say it's not even our bloody currency, mate. Get back in your car and piss off.
Well, golly, if you can't even... No wonder we left you guys behind. That's terrible. How are you going to have good stories about stuff like that?
Because we've got proper money with proper notes, with proper, we've even got women on our notes. I mean, it's just astonishing for you guys.
Sissies.
Yikes!
Guys,
See, now-
the war's long over. Let it rest, all right?
Now, see, Matt paints this story of
Which, of course,
we're
the
not
war-
gonna do your thing, piss off. But here's what it would really sound like. Pardon me, sir, a bit of a fizzywig here. I hate to be a big bother, but if you could take your coins and please exit our
Bugger off.
establishment at this fine time, I'm sure we'll talk about this at another moment. Meanwhile, I'm going to go have some tea.
I think you have to use the word arse in there somewhere.
Arse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Arse. That would sort of be how it would go, yep.
Matt's booking his flight right now to India.
It's funny when Matt comes back with these little quips. He always sounds like Stewie.
Out of my way, short man.
See?
Oh.
Matt, just for the record, I'm glad you paid me for the ticket on PayPal and not in coins.
See, we have got the digital technology. I have to say though, every time I come over to the States, your money and the way your credit and your checking and stuff works just blows my brains out, because they're like, you give them a card
dangerous.
and they go credit or debit, and you go, I don't know, because it's a debit card in the UK, but I think it's a credit over here, and I don't really know what to do. And they sort of look at you as if like you're an idiot, and you're like, okay, do you have chip and pin? No, you have to sign stuff. Sign stuff. I can't even remember what my name is on my credit card, let alone what my signature looks like.
Wow.
Who am I today? And tell them how much you love our money, because our paper money.
Oh, I've said
you
this
love.
before. When the first time I ever had dollars, and they all look the same. I mean, they're not the same. They are slightly different shades of bland.
There's
but they
different
all-
numbers on them.
Yeah, but you have to look at that. In the UK, you really don't even really have to look at it. The colours will tell you exactly what you're doing. But over there,
lazy.
it's basically, it's just a lot of white men who used to have slaves that are on notes. It's what it's just. It's a problem you people have. You've got to sort this shit out. You know what I mean?
is.
I mean, that's
It is.
probably really true.
Yeah, sad but true. Sad but true. Hey, Will, thanks for the news.
Anytime, sir.
All right, let's take the end of the first quarter here.
It's the end of the first quarter, bitches.
Coming up on this special episode of the 12 Man Fan Jam Show, lots of show left, halftime trivia, but coming up next, we talk about last week's Seahawk victory over the 49ers, and we caption a picture. We'll be right back after this, and a quick recap of the Niners game from Statsman Mark in Statsman Mark's Remarks.
Hi, I'm Rosette, and you are listening to the 12 Man Fan Jam Show. Dad, I need more money.
What for now?
Look, do you want me to graduate or not?
Okay, let me get my wallet. And now the 12-Man Fan Jam Show proudly presents another installment of Statsman Mark's Remarks.
Hey everybody, Statsman Mark coming to you after a nice and dominating win over those San Francisco 49ers, the downtrodden San Francisco 49ers. The win is especially enjoyable for me because I live here 15 minutes south, whatever direction of their stadium, and I'm very close to their headquarters as well. So always good to pound that team, and that's what happened here. This was just dominating on both sides of the ball, and really a great thing to see, especially in light of Thomas Rawls' unfortunate injury. Is that Christine Michael has really stepped up and actually looks like a franchise back. I was one of his harshest critics, and since he returned to the team last year, he has done really, really well in taking his tenure with the Seahawks the second time around very seriously, and his career in the league very seriously. And boy, right from the get-go, early momentum, early points. This is Seahawk football. This is where we take an inferior opponent and we don't give them a chance to breathe, and that's what happened here. 37-3 at one point in the fourth quarter before a couple of garbage TDs for the 49ers. But not much else to say other than, in a word, this was a dominating win. This is what we needed. This is what we expected. And now it's on to New York, and let's win there.
Holy shit, it's the second quarter.
Yes, welcome to the second quarter of episode 411 of your 12-Man Fan Jam Show. It's time to review last week's Seahawk win over the 49ers, 37-18. Dustin, what are your thoughts offensively about this game for the Seahawks?
No, I thought it was a great game offensively for him. I hope it's the offense we move forward with for the rest of the season, that and better. I mean, first of all, they had a fast start, which is great. That's kind of a rarity for us. 3 plays, 2 explosive plays on that drive, a 34-yard catch by Baldwin, another 41-yard run for Christian Michael for a touchdown. I mean, awesome way to start. We had 7 scoring drives in the game, 4 for touchdowns. Wow. That way better production than we've had leading up to that.
Absolutely.
And explosive plays came back. We had 5 explosive plays, meaning plays over 20 yards. That is a beautiful thing. And there was blocking. We had touchdowns, explosive plays. I mean, it was only allowed 2 sacks, which was nice. So, I mean, there's a whole lot of positive in that game, yes. Man. That was a lot of fun to watch for the offense.
There was a lot of fun. Matt, the emergence of Jimmy Graham after I begged for it, it happened. Amazing catch by Baldwin. Throwing the ball was real well, but the size of the holes that the running backs were going through was very nice to see for a change, wasn't it?
Yeah, I mean, I think I was totally unprepared for this game because I was still getting my snacks ready. I'm still getting my beers ready. I'm still sort of, messing about and getting myself ready for the game, and we'd already scored. Now, that's not the way it works normally for us. No. It's normally a slow, methodical beatdown. Well, this was just like, a constant pummel to the face. We have to bear in mind that this was the 49ers we're playing. I think we have to put that in a box somewhere with a big sign that says it was the 49ers. I think Christian Michael, for me, he controlled that running game. He found those gaps. He was able to change directions, all that sort of stuff. Yes, Graham also managed to climb out of the air. How Baldwin caught that ball and laid out and just got that ball one-handed, and then kept control of it all the way through. I don't know. I just think that was incredible. Yes.
He's had a couple signature catches.
Yes. Really has.
Faster than this one, man.
He has.
Really has. So, great first start. Can we not be? I mean, not quite so fast, please, because I wasn't ready. Didn't have all my stuff ready.
So I am the team, Matt.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'm gonna put a note into Pete because he can't go that quickly. I wasn't ready.
That's what he said.
I know.
Well, he's old, isn't he?
It happens when it happens at that age, man.
It's
if it happens at all.
Oh my God. Woo. Will, offensively, anything we miss?
Just again, just seeing Kristen Michael, how explosive he can potentially be. It's just fun to watch. I mean, it's fun to watch what this kid has become. And I got to say, going into training camp, I didn't think he was even going to make the team, and now he's one of our best weapons.
Yeah, lived up to that second-round pick we gave him a few years ago.
Yeah.
I don't want to be a Debbie Downer, but oh my God, those holding penalties are going to give me even grayer hair than I already have. I think there were 5 or 6. It just, you gain 4 yards, it's 2nd and 6, and now it's 1st and 20. And it just, it just drove me crazy. But
I think we had 6 total penalties for 50 yards, if I remember right. So that's
not bad, but I know at least 4 or 5 of them were holding.
Yeah.
So that's not good. But defensively, also a good game, Will. Even though we gave up those 2 touchdowns in what I would call garbage time, what are your thoughts about the game defensively for the Seahawks?
Well, I like the fact that the defense is pissed that they gave up those touchdowns because they, they could have been like, well, the game was already won, it didn't matter, everything. But they were visibly upset. They were upset days later, and I think that bodes well for us going forward. But, through most of the game, I mean, yeah, it is the 49ers. It is Blaine Gabbert. Carlos Hyde, he's a good running back, but yeah, I mean, not very threatening. It's a long way from the team that was our arch nemesis just a few years ago. But even so, it was great to see the team not let up, to really take it to a team that they should have beaten handily, which they did.
Yes.
Finally got a turnover. I kind of wished it was Bennett other than Wagner, because then I would have won my prognostication, but I was close. So another great performance, and I expect to see more of the same this week.
Yeah, I do too. I don't know, Matt. I mean, it seemed to me that those touchdowns came from them running the ball, and I think maybe when you're up 37-3, the Seahawks are thinking they're going to pass more than run, because run seems to run a lot more clock run more clock. I don't know. What were your thoughts about those garbage time touchdowns?
They were just unfortunate. I honestly think that they took their eye off the game, if you like. I think they had put the game to bed, rightly so, because there was no way that the 49ers were going to win that game anyway. So I think rightly so, they did take their eye off that game. And I agree entirely with Will. I think that sort of haunting memory of allowing the 49ers to break their sort of touchdown record type thing is going to stick with them for a little while. That's good. I will say this: I was really pleased to see Cam Chancellor out there absolutely laying people out.
Yes,
that was fun. That was perfect to see. But what's happened to Earl Thomas?
Yeah,
the invisible man.
Yeah. How true? That's a great question. Matt, one more question here, and then we'll go to our 2-minute warning. Of course, we can't ignore the elephant in the room, and of course, everyone when our quarterback went down, everyone held their breath. Little Mo got upset, and I think we all kind of the stomach got a little queasy because it looked awful. He's going to play this week. They've taken him off the injury report. How concerned should we be? We've had an ankle, now we've had a knee. How concerned should we be about this, or is this just he's going to tough it out and he's going to come back and everything's going to be fine?
Oh, he'll tough it out. I think the thing was, I mean, it certainly looked at that moment much worse than clearly it was.
Yes.
Because when you saw him sort of like gasp in pain and roll around on the floor for a little second, it was like, that's not a good. I mean, I think we were speaking, and though for all our listeners, by the way, if you want to join us on game day, there is a thread that we post on our Facebook.
Yes, we do.
So do come along and join in with that. But I think you were saying, do we pull him now, or what do we do, or do we keep going? Because we weren't sure whether the game was over. The game was over. It was absolutely right for him to be pulled out. It was absolutely right for Boykin to get in there and get some reps under center as well. So I think he'll be fine. Miracle water, knee brace, he'll be fine.
Dustin, your thoughts? Same?
More or less. When he got hurt, it was on the opposite side of the stadium from where I was at, and all I saw was him laying on the ground. I was like, oh, that's really not good. And then, a couple of plays later, he was running back in there, stadium erupted. I was like, oh, okay, he's fine. It wasn't until later when I got home and I saw it on TV, and I heard about him having to have an MRI and all that, and I was like, oh, man, that is terrible. That's really bad.
Yeah.
Just looking at it. And so now what I don't like about this whole thing is that he's got a high ankle sprain on the one leg. and MCL sprain on the other leg. The dude could barely run around and defend himself in the first place because he was already hobbled. Now he doesn't have either wheel.
Yeah.
And that worries me quite a bit going against a defensive line that's going to be very similar to the Rams and Miami where we had issues. So I would almost rather, honestly, I would almost rather them not play him. Give him the time to rest. Put Boykin out there. He got reps last week. He's proven that he can go out there and play. He threw that touchdown to Baldwin, and he can run right now for his life if he needs to, which is a good insurance plan.
Right, and I think we'll see. I mean, they may do that anyway. Will, final thoughts on the game, 49er game?
Well, we did what we had to do. It was obviously horrible when Wilson went down. We'll see. They seem pretty confident that he's going to be okay this week. We'll see. But, I think we're all going to be holding our breath every time anyone so much as breathes on him.
Yeah,
but
and now I said...
We took care of business at home, and that's what we had to do.
Well, and I think all of a sudden now we complained a little bit about that early bye week, but now we're very thankful for it, I think.
Oh, no doubt.
It's going to give him 2 weeks of rest.
This year.
Yes, that's going to really help. So he should be really healthy come the Falcons game, hopefully, if everything goes well this weekend. Okay, well, it's time to put the 49er game behind us, but before we do, we always like to take a picture from that game and give our own caption to it, something we call Caption That Picture. All right, Caption That Picture this week is an interesting picture I could not resist of Pete Carroll, and it looks like he's giving the finger to our quarterback, and he's laughing. So, Matt.
Yes.
Caption that picture.
Okay, Pete Carroll to Russell. Thus, both of your legs have fallen off. Go and sit on the bench.
Enough's enough. Dustin, caption that picture.
Oh, who's got your nose?
That's good. Will, caption that picture.
Russ, I'm telling you, fake an injury, everyone will get all freaked out. It'll be hysterical. Oh, come on, coach. Who's going to fall for that?
As the yellow flag falls. Okay. I got 2. Pete Carroll says, so I just showed Harbaugh my Super Bowl ring on my ring finger, and he just shut right up.
Nice.
And finally, not as funny as sadly true, yeah, this is the only part of your body that our offensive line can protect for you, Russell.
Hey, now.
All right, I know. That was a bit in bad taste. All right, let's go to the 2-minute warning.
Holy shit, it's a 2-minute warning.
2-minute warning, time to check our posse prediction challenge. First, the scores last week. A point to Dustin and Statsman Mark, 37-18, and they said 31-13. Pretty close. Little Mo was really excited because he had said 38-3, and it was 37-3, and then they scored those 2 touchdowns, which is too bad. But I know he was bummed. The prognostications: 3 points to Matt, Little Mo, Tom, and Jose. The game ball, I'm giving it to Graham. I'm giving it to Moses, Matt, Little Mo, Tom, and Jose. I think Graham was there. Baldwin was there. I think those are the game balls off the top of my head. Over-under, 2 points to Will, Dustin, Statsman, Mark, and Little Mo for getting the over-under correct. I think it was the over, which is weird. Me and the scores look like this for the week. Hey, guys, everybody got beat by a 10-year-old, okay? Little Mo, 7. Matt, Tom, Jose, 5. Dustin, Statsman, Mark, 3. Will, and Moses, 2. Our individual scores look like this. Dustin still leading 18-15 over Jose, who's gaining. Little Mo in third at 12. And all the rest of us are below a 10-year-old. So, the team scores: Team 12, 56. Team Posse, 48. So, gentlemen, the gap has widened a bit, and I'm doing all I can with my 4 points, so I don't know what everyone else's problem is. So you need to get your act
How many
together.
of them had Doug Baldwin getting the game ball? Because if more of us had it, then you could have, skewed those points a little bit, Dennis.
I know. Well, I had Graham, so that worked. I still had
All
the game
right.
ball, So
Just saying.
I know. I'll do what I can to get out of the cellar, but Mike Pascal is leaving me in the dust right now. And, oh my gosh, Matt is like in the middle of the pack. What's wrong with us? All right.
Got a nosebleed.
right, that's the end of the second quarter.
Holy shit, it's halftime.
Coming up, so much more show than we can even dare mention. Will the Seahawks win Sunday? Can the Jets turn the ball over even more? Did anyone punch the Times Square Elmo in the throat? All these answers and more just around the corner. But first, another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. Coming up next!
Hey, this is Matt from merry old England, and I am the current reigning halftime trivia champion. Why not play along at home and leave a comment on our Facebook page to let us know if you beat me this week. Now, if you'll excuse me, I've got to go and polish my trophies.
Yes, it's halftime, and welcome to another fun-filled edition of the best play-along Seahawk-themed trivia game show on the internet. It's time for 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. And here's your host, the self-appointed Reverend Moses of the St. Paul Island Church of Seahawk Positivity. Yes, thank you, and welcome to another edition of 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia
Of the world!
The trivia game that tests the knowledge of both our posse and our listeners. Our contestants are the posse themselves, Will, Matt, and Dustin. Here are the rules. So here's how the trivia game works. There'll be 2 rounds of questions. Each contestant answers 1 question each round. If they get it correct, they get 1 point. After 2 rounds of questions, there'll be a final trivia question worth 2 points. If there's a tie after that, then the tie players go on to a special secret overtime question where the winner becomes reigning 12-man Fan Jam Show trivia champion and also gets a prize chosen especially for them. As an added bonus to those listening on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel, the questions and possible answers will be displayed on your screen so you, the viewer and listener, can play along as well. If you do, please let us know how you did on the questions. Remember, there's no Googling, no phone a friend, and please, no wagering. However, there is a lifeline. Before taping this show, my 2 charming Seahawk fan children, Mosette and Little Mo, did take the quiz as well. If the contestants want to know what the kids said, they can ask that but once and only once during the entire game show and only in the first 2 rounds. Now let's get ready to play 12-Man Fan Jam Show Halftime Trivia. All right, gentlemen, you know the rules. Remember, you can ask Mosette or Little Mo once during either round. Once per 2 rounds, I guess I should say. The theme, obviously, is the Jets and the Seahawks. And as always, every round there's a question that's not necessarily about football. So, Matt, you get to pick 1, 2, or 3.
2, please.
Matt picks number 2. Will, 1 or 3?
I'll take 1.
And Dustin, you'll take 3.
Sounds fair.
That's fair.
Isn't that the way it goes? Something like that. All right, here we go. All right, Will, your first question is a football question.
Okay.
And your football question is, what are the most points the Jets have ever scored against the Seahawks in one game? They haven't played very much. What are the most points the Jets have ever scored against the Seahawks in one game? Hold on the organ! Your
Whoa.
Huh.
37,
You guy.
38, or 41. 37, 38, or 41. The most points the Jets have ever scored against the Seahawks in one game. 37, 38, or 41.
Well, I remember they absolutely stomped us to begin the 97 season, so I'm going to go 41. I think it was 41-3.
Lil Mo said 38. Mosette said 41. Yeah, that's right. I remember that game too. 41-3. What an opening game. I think it was first week game of the year, wasn't it?
Yep.
Oh, yes, unfortunately, 41-3, 1997. Yep, you called it. All right, Matt.
Yes.
Your question, do you like the Jets, the football team, the Jets? That's good because you're speechless. Because your question is not about the Jets. Your question is about the Wright brothers. You know who the Wright brothers are?
Oh, yeah, I saw the epic rap battle. They went against the Mario Brothers.
Yeah. Not one of their better ones,
See?
but still good.
Here's your question, Matt. Before Arvil and Wilbur Wright flew airplanes, what did they do for a living? Did they run a bicycle shop? Were they mailmen? or did they own a clothing store? What did the Wright brothers do before they became known for flying? Did they run a bicycle shop? Were they mailmen, or did they own a clothing store?
They're from North Carolina, dude. You can practically see North Carolina from me. You should know this.
I'll see. Now I don't know whether to ask the kids or whether to keep that for the second round. I'll ask the kids.
He's gonna ask the kids. Okay. Both the kids said they were mailmen.
Mailmen?
Mailmen. Ran a bicycle shop, mailmen, or owned a clothing store. Which one did the Wright brothers do before they flew planes?
That was the mailman, was the one I was going to throw out straight away. We'll go with bicycle people.
Bicycle people.
Yep.
Bicycle people. Bicycle people.
Yeah. Well, because the power, because they didn't have engines, did they? So I reckon they were using their feet and powering it with their feet.
You reckon?
Like
You
the
reckon?
Flintstones.
You reckon? Where you from now? I reckon. Well, guys, I reckon you're right.
Yosemite Matt over there.
Yes,
I love how
man.
Matt always gets the America-themed questions.
He does, doesn't he? And yes, they ran a bicycle shop in beautiful Dayton, Ohio. All right, Matt. Congratulations. You're on the board. Will's on the board. Now it's Dustin's turn. Dustin,
Yeah.
what are the most points the Seahawks have ever scored against the Jets in one game? 30, 31, or 34?
30, 31, or 34?
Correct.
I'll say 31.
You'll say 31. Little Mo
What
said
I say?
31. Mosette said 34. You said 31. Yeah. Woo. 31. Hey. Wow. You
Round
guys
three.
are like tearing this up. We go to round 2 and everyone's tied, so we'll go through the same order. Matt, 4, 5, or 6?
5, please.
5.
Touchdown Huskies.
Will.
Yeah, but there's a flag.
Yeah, there is.
We're so much into this show. Will, 4 or 6?
I'll take 6.
Change it up a little bit. That means Dustin gets our next
Uh-huh.
question. Dustin, you
Woo.
ready? Get your mind off the TV. Get your mind off the game for just a second here.
Okay, more Wright brothers then?
Yeah, no more Wright brothers. No, yours is a football question. Last time the
All right.
Seahawks beat the Jets in New York. It was a long time ago. Who was the game's leading rusher? The game's leading rusher. Was it Dan Dornick, Freeman McNeil, or Kurt Warner? Who was the leading rusher last time the Seahawks beat the Jets in New York for the entire game? Dan Dornick, Freeman McNeil, or Kurt Warner?
I'll go Kurt Warner.
Kurt Warner, okay. So Lil Mo and Mosette. But Freeman McNeil. Kurt had 128, Freeman McNeil had 140, so it was close. But, yeah.
Wow.
Freeman
It
McNeil.
must have been back when it was Shea Stadium, yeah?
Yeah, I think so. It was, yeah, back in the early 80s.
Dustin, take heart knowing that the Huskies touchdown counted. So,
Yay!
Oh, that's good. That's good.
Touchdown Huskies.
At least they scored. I did not.
oh,
Hey, Matt, I think you have answered 3 straight questions that are not about football. Isn't that correct? Because you did 2 last time, didn't you?
Oh, not again.
Well, no, you have a football question this time. I just wanted to throw it out.
God.
Hey, Matt, the last time the Seahawks beat the Jets in Seattle, who had the most receiving yards for the Seahawks? Was it Doug Baldwin, Sidney Rice, or Golden Tate? Most receiving yards against the Jets in Seattle last time we won. Baldwin, Rice, or Tate?
8.
He's going with Tate. Mosette went with Baldwin. Little Mo went with Rice. You should have gone with Rice as well.
Oh,
Golden
okay.
Tate had 51. Rice had 54. So you're pretty
Oh, it's
close.
close.
Yeah, very close. All right,
Oh,
well, you know
yeah.
what that means. You get the great question. Here it is.
dum-dum-dum.
And it's about Airplane, the movie.
Oh, nice.
Will, what year did the Airplane movie get released in theaters? Was it 1980, 1981, or 1982?
1980.
Oh, my
No
God.
hesitation.
You're killing me. Do I even have to say? Little Mo Mosette said 1980. You said 1980. Yeah, you got that one.
Wow.
It's one of my favorite movies. Of course I got that one.
That's awesome. All right.
Surely you
Wilson,
can't
two.
be serious.
Matt and Dustin, what that means.
Don't call me Shirley.
Don't call me Shirley. Dustin will go first, Matt second, and Will third. Okay, here we go. Of
Good.
course, it's a final question's a number. The closest without going over gets 2 points and will be our champion. The if everyone goes over, whoever's closest to the number gets the 2 points and the championship. So here we go. Dustin, here it is. The last time the Seahawks played the Jets, what were the total number of yards on offense for the Seahawks? Total number of offensive yards for the Seahawks against the Jets the last time they played, which I want to say
12.
This is 12 or 13. I guess it would have been 12 because 4 years ago. That's right. Okay, that makes sense. 2012. Total number of offensive yards for the Seahawks in that game against the Jets.
I'll say. I don't know.
Well, obviously you don't.
I
That's an
know.
honest answer.
3.
I know.
351.
351. Matt? I don't know.
Why are you asking me? That was good.
I don't know.
Oh, no.
Me.
I'll go 360. Wait, what did Dustin
Will?
say? 350, 361? Oh, shit.
You say 3. Matt,
Too late.
361.
You can't take it back. Too late.
Oh.
No, I
said
said 351 is what I said.
Matt,
Oh, I
are you
thought you
going
said
360 or
361.
361?
Yeah, 360. No, 360.
Okay. Will, 351, 360. Total number of yards of offense for the Seahawks against the Jets.
I'll go 300. This is Sparta.
Nice.
And you got a movie plug in there as well. All right.
Beautiful.
The actual number of yards that the Seahawks amassed on offense against the Jets last time they played in 2012 was 363. He's back on a roll, folks.
Let me tell
Sure.
you, I feel bad
Here
because
we go again.
I was trying to price this right, Dustin, by going one below him because I thought he said 361.
Maybe I did. We'll have to go to the
Whoa,
replay.
it sucked.
Oh, that's
I feel really
classic.
quite
I
bad.
was waiting for Will to go 361. I was going to say, oh my God, this is awesome because you're all so close. But Dustin, that was pretty close for not knowing. But Matt might price
I wasn't
right
there.
as usual. God, man. Congratulations again, Matt.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
fluke.
That was a calculation. It was a calculation.
No,
Yeah.
it's all right. It's a calculation, everybody.
Calculation.
AKA a wild ass guess.
I can't believe it. I can't
That's
believe
what we
it.
call that in this
Trying
country, buddy. Oh, wow. Another crowd-pleasing,
Oh,
heart-stopping,
goodness me.
award-winning edition of your 12-man Fan Jam halftime trivia. We'll be back with the second half of the show after this station identification.
You're listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show on the Seahawk Positivity YouTube channel.
Holy shit, it's the third quarter.
Welcome to the third quarter of your 12-man Fan Jam show. Hey, you! Yes, you asking the Statue of Liberty if she's from out of town. Like or comment on this video. Join us on Facebook at the 12-man Fan Jam Show Facebook page. Email us. Tweet us at Seahawk Positivity. Make us part of your Seahawk fix. Do it now, and you're registered for a drawing as we'll be giving away a special Ryan Fitzpatrick autograph Easy Bake Turnover Oven to the winner. So,
Nice.
yeah, thank you. This quarter, we take a longer look, I should say, not a long look, a longer look at the New York Jets and the Seahawks. Here's your tail of the tape from last year. Both teams were 10-6, and now it's time for Dr. Dustin and his one key injury for this game. Dr. Dustin, what is the key injury of this game?
I'm going to kind of go in a weird direction with this one because we've had such trouble in the offensive line playing against stout defensive lines. I'm going to say it's going to be a key non-injury by Jermaine Ifedi being back in there. I think his leg being healed up is going to be pretty good for the Hawks, and it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out with him getting in there now. We'll actually get to see him against a live, real team during the regular season when it counts. So I think that's going to be pretty huge.
That's pretty huge. Of course, as we just went to a recording a couple hours before we hit recording, I told everybody that Eric Decker is officially out for this game for the Jets. That's a big deal because they rely on him a lot. He was their leading receiver last year. And, of course, Russell on how banged up he's going to be. Jimmy Graham with his back problem that came up all of a sudden. What does that mean? We don't know. But
back
yes, I agree
spasms.
with you.
It's back spasms. So it's kind of a non-issue. Just relax,
he
take some time
practiced
off.
today, so Carroll
Good.
said he's going to play.
Well, and
Yeah.
I agree with you. I think that's great. I think Ifedi is going to be a huge part, hopefully, to solidify this line and try to get some continuity going, which would be nice. Matt, what's the weather going to be in New York?
I'm glad you asked, Moses.
Yes.
Today's weather is brought to you by Jerry Jones's Glory Hole Days, where the wind isn't the only thing that's blowing. We've got
Nice.
Beautiful.
Based in East Rutherford, we've got highs of 69 degrees Fahrenheit and lows of 59 degrees Fahrenheit. That's 20 degrees centigrade. Light cloud and sunny spells. It's going to be a glorious day for football.
A glorious day of football in a glorious place, MetLife Stadium, of course, a wonderful stadium that we all know very well. So
where rings are won.
Where rings are won, yes. All right, so the weather's not a factor. So I guess we'll go right to the Seahawks win this game. Will, hey, Will, the Seahawks win this game if what?
If we can stop the run. Jaron Reed was hurt, did not practice today, is questionable for the game. We need to stop the run because Fitzpatrick is going to be cautious with the ball. He's not going to want to turn it over 6 times. And if we can stop the run, I think we stop their offense.
And I think Matt Forte, one of the most underrated backs in NFL. There's no question about it. What he can do, catching the ball, running the ball, so versatile. And they're using him up there in New York the way he should be used, which is getting a lot of touches whenever he can. So, yeah, I agree with you. They keep him from being a factor and make Fitzgerald, after throwing 6 interceptions, have to sit back there and think about this secondary. I think would be a good thing for us. I agree. Dustin, the Seahawks win this game if what?
I'm going to say kind of opposite of what Will was just saying, where I'm going to say the Seahawks can establish their run game because Russell Wilson's the starter. He's in there this week. He's going to be hobbled. He's not going to be able to run for his life. So the more we can put the ball in the hands of Christian Michael or whichever running back we can actually get off the injured list and out there to play, the better. If they can get that thing going and take advantage of Fetty being back, I think we're going to dominate that game.
I agree. Matt, the Seahawks win this game if
they control their own penalties. We cannot have a situation where we're going to give ourselves a harder job at getting those downs. So we can't have holding. We can't have, jumps off sides, false starts, whatever it might be. We've got to have a cleaner game as possible.
That's where I was kind of going with mine. Mine was the Seahawks will win this game if the offensive line will stop holding. Flat out. You guys have played in the NFL. You've played in college. You played probably in high school. You've played this position for years now. You know you can't grab a guy and turn him sideways and throw him on the ground. That is a hold. And it seems like a lot of these holds are really bad holds, too. They're not even like, well, he kind of did and he kind of didn't. I mean, they're like grabbing guys, turning them sideways, and, grabbing jersey and flinging them around by their jerseys. It's bad holding. Please, guys.
Well, the thing is worth doing. It's worth doing well.
That's a bad hold.
Yes.
Bad holding.
Bad holding. So stop your stupid holding. And let's let the 4-yard game be a 2nd and 6, not a 1st and 20. So I agree with you. If they can keep the holding penalties in particular down to let's say less than 5, that would be nice. And let's not have a contest to see how long it takes for every lineman to get a penalty of some kind. That would also be a bonus. Going to halftime, it's like bingo. You say, well, 4 out of 5. The only one that hasn't is this guy. I'd like to see that be maybe 1 or 2 guys and not 5 out of 5. So that's where I'm at. As long as this team can stop, offensive line can stop holding, they're blocking better on the runs. And, of course, obviously, protect poor Russell Wilson is a huge thing going into this game. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, I would believe that is the end of the third quarter.
It's the end of the third quarter, bitches.
Coming up, it's time to make our predictions, our prognostications, and our games balls for this week's game against the Jets. You're listening to 12 Man Fan Jam Show with almost half the calories than other podcasts. We'll be right back after this.
Hello everybody, this is Statsman Mark, and when I'm not listening to Charo's greatest hits on 8-track tape, I'm listening to the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
12-Man Fan Jam Show proudly presents another installment of Statsman Mark's Remarks.
Hey everybody, Statsman Mark here with my thoughts on the game against the Jets. And really the main thing that comes to mind for me right now, and I think for many 12s out there, is the health of Russell Wilson. All indications are that he will play. Pete Carroll says he is a go. Russell Wilson, of course, never wants to miss anything. So it looks, in fact, like he will play. That said, it would not bother me if we actually chose to rest him. But it looks like he's a go. Being 3-1 is a huge motivation to go into the bye week with a win rather than putting Boykin out there, who played admirably against the 49ers, albeit in Seattle. So I guess really the thing is no matter who is quarterbacking our team, I do see a win. I think this is going to be kind of an ugly game. It's going to be, I'm assuming, an early start time. I guess I could have looked that up. But it is East Coast. The Jets are coming off a horrible loss. They should be motivated. Ryan Fitzpatrick typically is a much more effective quarterback than the 6 picks he threw a week ago. But nonetheless, no matter who is playing QB for the Seahawks, I think it will be a 19-13 win. My game ball will go to Tyler Lockett. I do believe Tyler Lockett will have a receiving touchdown, and his return yards will shift the balance in the field position battle.
Holy shit, it's the fourth quarter.
Yes, it's time for the fourth and final quarter of this episode of the 12-Man Fan Jam Show.
That sounded painful.
I know. I love doing that. All right. Hey, it's time for another top 3, everybody. Let's get excited. So, from our offices located in the Big Apple comes the top 3 ways you can tell it's autumn in New York City. Yes, autumn is upon us, or fall, if you would. And how can you tell in New York City if it's fall? Well, there are 3 easy ways. Number 3 is Times Square Elmo is vomiting pumpkin spice in an alley. So,
Ew.
yeah.
Ew.
As are random white girls.
Ew. The number 2 way you can tell it's autumn in New York City, the Statue of Liberty stopped shaving her armpits and legs. You know, she's from France anyway, so she doesn't really...
That's true.
Yeah. And the number 1 way you can tell it's autumn in New York City, the Jets fans have already changed into Giant fans. So, just like the leaves, they change from green to blue. Okay, let's move on to this game. The current line is Seattle 1.5 point favorites. The over-under for our purposes is going to be 40.5. Quick disclaimer, these numbers have been presented for entertainment purposes only. The 12-Man Fan Jam Show does not endorse betting or anything at any time. Please do not take these or anything we ever say on this show seriously, ever. We don't know what we're doing. Okay, let's make our predictions. Here's how the scoring this year goes. Prognostications, you see game balls, predictions, over and under. Blah, 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 blah. All right. Team 12 and their picks. We start with Team 12, as always. Little Mo, who won last week quite handily. A 10-year-old boy who won over all of us. It sounds like the story of a child, a 10-year-old that won over all of us. No.
It sounds like the story of a secretary during the NCAA tournament who picks teams based on uniforms.
Pretty much, so.
Yeah.
Well, laugh if you will. Little Mo crushed it last week, and this time he's saying it again. He's still going 38-3. He might be on 45-7, Dustin, and you know what that means. Little Mo's going 38-3.
That's the first thing that popped in my
Andy.
head, man, as soon as you said that.
Little Mo's going 38-3. His prognostication defense gets an interception. Graham gets his game ball. Jose says 26-16. Prognostication, we will see both backup quarterbacks get in the game, and Jimmy Graham will get his game ball. Tom picks 30-21 Hawks. Graham, 2 touchdowns, game ball to Graham. Mike Pascal score 24-10 Seahawks. Seahawks with 3 sacks, and Cam Chester gets his game ball. And then comes Mark Ty Turner, and Mark gives me more than just... He says it's a dreaded 10 a.m. start for the Hawks, but then again, we do have Russell, who has the best 10 a.m. start record of any quarterback in Hawk history, but then again and again, Russell's hurt, and I'm not even sure I want him playing Sunday. I'd rather have him rest for the next 2 weeks to heal. Pete might be playing with fire if he starts Wilson. This is a tough one to call. Jets are coming back after one of the most embarrassing losses in team history, and that's saying something about that sad franchise. Jets will be angry, and with our offensive line, I don't feel good. He says 10-6 Jets. Russell will start but get roughed up early in the game, and Pete pulls him. Boykin comes in and looks like an undrafted rookie. Game ball to Earl, who will finally have a good game with a couple of picks on overthrows by Fitzpatrick, and I'm giving the 2 interceptions by Fitzpatrick as his prognostication. And now it's time for us, guys. First, Mark picked, as you heard at the start of this quarter, 1913 game ball to lock it, and his prognostication is a reception touchdown, a receiving touchdown for Lockett. So, all right, Matt. Finally, it comes to you. Score, game ball, prognostication.
Right. Okay. Well, I'm going to go with Seahawks 15, Jets 9.
Yikes.
I think this is going to be one of those defensive games. I couldn't think of the word. I'm going to give my game ball.
Defensive match.
A match. Match on a pitch. Wonderful. I'm going to give my game ball to Stephen Hauschka.
Oh, okay.
I think he's going to be the only thing scoring.
Okay.
Us.
That's what they said.
And I think, and I'm going to give, and my prognostication is a 57-yarder for him.
Nice. House money. All right, Dustin. Score, prognostication, game ball.
Mama?
I don't know. No.
All right, well, no.
Back to the drugs, Dustin. Back to the drugs.
Sorry. No, I think it's going to be another one of those field goal heavy games, but I think the Hawks are going to get one touchdown, and it's going to be Chris and Michael that gets that. I think the score is going to be 16-9. Seahawks are going to win, and my game ball is going to go to Michael. That one touchdown, plus it'll be his second straight game with over 100 yards rushing. We have to get that running game going. I'm all in on that.
So 100 yards is your prognostication?
Yes.
Okay. Did you just Price is Right me on the score?
He kind of did a little bit.
Dude, I kind of did.
A little
is that a thing now? Is that what we're doing now?
It's not a thing. See, I was going to say that score anyways, but you went first.
Mm-hmm.
So.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Will's going to say 17-9.
I should remember this.
Yeah. Will's going to go 17-10, and I'm going to say 18-11. No. Will.
Yes, sir.
What you got for us?
Well, for my prognostication, I believe CJ Spiller is going to get into this game. They'll have a limited package for him.
Okay.
And
he's like Dennis then. I'm sorry, what?
We've all heard about Will's limited package.
Yes.
There it is.
Yes, but he will catch 2 passes for first downs. My game ball is going to go to Jermaine Ifedi because I think having him in there is going to be a big improvement over Jamarcus Webb, and is going to be the reason why we win the game 23-10.
Ooh. And 2 first down catches for Spiller.
Yep.
Which will be in a limited package apparently.
Yes.
Dennis.
I know. We're all 12. All right. I had to throw it in there.
But your limited package.
Well, he had to try anyways.
Good night, everybody.
Oh my God! Always the fourth quarter it happens.
That's what I love about Saturday mornings is I get to be 12-year-old again. It's great.
Great. After this, he doesn't really go to bed. He watches cartoons.
I do. It's great.
With a big bowl of sugar cereal.
We're like, thank you. Oh yeah. Speaking of which, Jose Rodriguez, who's listening, I know, said, "Okay, could we get more Juvenile?" And I said,
yes.
Challenge accepted.
Oh, yes.
Jose, this quarter's for you, buddy.
Yep. We are rocking the juvenileity right now.
All
Use
right.
your words. Spell it out.
Oh, dear.
Okay. Challenge accepted, Jose. We'll kick it up a notch next week. Okay. The Seahawks traveled to Big Apple in a stadium that gives us all great memories. The snap, the pick six, the return, the trophy. The Seahawks are looking to build on last week's game. The Jets are looking to put last week behind them, and I think we'll see a little bit of both in this game. Watch my game ball recipient, Doug Baldwin, to run over the MetLife turf like Champ Bailey was still there trying to guard him. Watch the Seahawk defense get a defensive touchdown. That's my prognostication. And watch Russell Wilson show that Wilson at 80% is better than 99% of the NFL at 100% if you get all those percents. And watch the Seahawks win by a score of Seattle Seahawks 24, the New York Jets, who play in New Jersey, 13. All right. Well. Looks like it's time to bring another wonderful and amazing 12-man Fan Jam show to a sad close. We're so glad you decided to waste some time with us. We certainly hope you laughed a little and maybe you learned a little something along the way. What did we learn on our show? Well, we learned that some football players would rather be stoned. We learned that there's a new home for the Jaguars and it's Amsterdam. We learned that Mike Tolbert can find a use for a penny. Matt sounds like Stewie. And Will has a limited package. So, on behalf of my partner in crime, Matt, our new sound Shadowhawk Will, Statsman Mark, Dustin as the Beaver, Roger Goodell, Mosette, Little Mo, Buddy Hackett, Sheila McRae, Art Carney. Good night, everybody, and go Hawks!
Go
Hawks.
What the hell was that? You know, kind of like...
A week on the finish. I was drinking from a Pepsi can.
You talk surprisingly
Pepsi
clear
is
with
not
your
an
mouthful.
official
That's
sponsor of the 12-man Fan Jam.